Hello friends and welcome to our channel. Our today's video is about worker finds old wallet, peeks inside and finds answer to 71-year-old mystery. But before we start, please make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell and smash that like button. We really appreciate your continuous support. As they began to tear down the walls and floors for reconstruction, they noticed something sticking out from under a floorboard. How odd, they all thought, but still went ahead with their work. As they began to pour more floorboards apart, the mysterious object was in full view. The brown plastic object was in pristine condition, but when they got a closer look, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. It was a wallet, and the contents inside told them everything they needed to know. The Talent Factory, a comedy club in Nevada, Iowa, has been around for ages. This quaint building has seen its fair share of renovations, but none have ever solved a mystery until that day. Larry Sloan, owner of the Talent Factory, couldn't believe his eyes when he found the old wallet. But this wallet wasn't just old, it was 71 years old. But whose was it? Larry and the workers who had found the wallet were in awe of the condition it was in. It seemed like being wedged between floorboards had preserved it perfectly. But not just that, the wallet was made of plastic, so Larry thought that this wallet might have belonged to a child until he saw what was inside it. Larry himself transformed the once old movie theater into a laugh-out-loud establishment. The building was built in the 20s, so many generations of people have walked through the doors and stepped onto those floors. Many had shared their first kiss, their first dates, etc. But nothing could have prepared Larry for finding a 71-year-old wallet with all its contents intact. The movie theater was always full in its day. People from neighboring towns visited the theater to watch their first ever movies and shows that were on display. I love that, thinking of what kind of history it made, Larry said in an interview about the building. He wanted to keep the tradition alive, and he thought that there was nothing better than setting up a comedy club so people could still share their laughter even years later. Live performance comedians act on stage day after day, making everyone laugh hysterically. But Larry and his staff never thought they'd find such a treasurable piece of history when they began their work one day right inside. While working on renovations, they spotted an old wallet wedged in the floorboards in the third floor of the building. It was sitting right up on that ledge right there, a worker said. As they retrieved the object, they thought that the wallet might have been from someone who had lost it recently. But when they opened it up and shuffled through the contents, shivers immediately went up and down their spines. The wallet was plastic. The first thing that came to mind was, this must be a child's wallet. I had no idea how old it would be, Larry told KCI News 8. Still, he was about to discover something incredible. He just needed to open the wallet to find out. As he cradled the wallet in his hands, he knew this item must have been old. But he never expected how old it was until one piece of paper inside it, in particular, gave the mystery away. The wallet was in remarkably good shape. The brown leather was faded, and it was wrapped in some plastic. They opened it up, and there were some items inside, some recognizable, but others made the men's jaw hit the floor. They were surprised by the contents the wallet held. It was a medium-sized wallet, but inside it contained many things. The first thing Larry and his workers pulled out were some old and faded photographs. Still, they had no idea whose those might be, so they kept searching. Then they couldn't believe what they'd found. Ration stamps from World War II. The stamps were in excellent condition, but how long had the wallet been hiding for? Surely it couldn't have been from so far back, could it? The next item they pulled out was an old Boy Scout card. The edges of the card were torn, but still in pretty good condition. Larry and his men knew by this card that the wallet had been lost a long time ago, but they had no idea exactly how long. Whoever this wallet had belonged to must have been in the Scouts. They could at least find the owner that way, or so they thought. Among the contents, there were a lot of pictures of people that were taken a long time ago, but still they seemed in great shape, despite having been secreted away in a wallet for such a long time. The photographs ranged from men, women, children to older people, but it was impossible to pinpoint whom the wallet belonged to. Then they opened one part of the wallet where all the secrets were stored. They came across a faded pocket calendar, but to their disbelief, the date on the calendar was 1944. Larry and the other men couldn't believe what they were looking at. This meant the wallet had been missing and wedged inside the floorboards for over 70 years. They'd found some historical treasure while renovating, but still one question persisted. Who did this wallet belong to, and why was it there? Next, they found an ID card, which luckily meant they could finally discover who it belonged to. The name Claire McIntosh was written in smudged blue ink on the top of the card. They finally had a name. But no one knew if this Claire McIntosh was even still alive. Luckily, Larry had a background in investigating. so he put his skills to the test. With all the contents out on display, the last one to emerge was a black and white photograph of Claire McIntosh himself. He was young and dressed in a neat way, with a suit and tie. Still, this didn't give them much to go by, as the person who this wallet belonged to must have been in their 80s by now. Larry knew exactly what to do. The handwritten ID stated, "In the event of an emergency, contact R.E. McIntosh, Iowa. Telephone number 8. Larry immediately thought, wow, that is old. When Larry started his investigation, he didn't know how to begin. When you're doing something like that, 71 years later, the hopes of finding him alive and well were kind of small, Larry told KCI News. But with Larry's perseverance, he finally found and contacted Claire McIntosh he was looking for. McIntosh arrived at the talent factory and was immediately introduced to Larry. "So you're the famous Claire McIntosh," said Larry, and McIntosh responded, "Yeah, I guess so." Well, both of them laughed. McIntosh couldn't believe his wallet had been found after so many years. He was itching to see what he'd once lost. 85-year-old Claire McIntosh couldn't believe his eyes when he scanned through his possessions. But when Larry called him that day to tell him they'd found his wallet, he was confused. He had his wallet with him. But when Larry told him he'd found his wallet from 1944, shivers immediately went up and down McIntosh's spine. McIntosh got to see his wallet for the first time since he was 15, making the moment so very special. He pointed out everyone in the photographs with tears in his eyes. "It's unreal. This is my sister. This is my Boy Scout card," McIntosh said as he pointed to every single item. "I thought at first it must be some kind of a joke, and I thought it couldn't be," McIntosh said when he received the call from Larry. Luckily enough, he lived pretty close by, and when asked what he was going to do with his newly found wallet, he said he would cherish it forever. Did you enjoy today's story? Let us know what you think about it in the comments. If you believe this story was amazing, don't hesitate to share it with your buddies. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you'll never miss your daily dose of incredible stories.